What's up, guys? We are back. Fitness Profit Multiplier, Anthony and Jimmy. Today, we're going to be discussing boxing. A lot of guys that we've been on the phone with have boxing facilities. They have boxing in their facility. They have the boxing bag in the corner. And if you offer boxing and you are a non-boxing gym, I don't know the franchises that have kickboxing or whatever, but if you're not a non-franchise boxing but have boxing in your place, we're going to tell you what to do with that boxing in a minute. But yeah, Jimmy, I mean, what's the verdict here? What's the 411 with boxing?
Well, as Anthony said, if you're not an I Love Kickboxing or a 9-round or one of these facilities that centers around boxing or kickboxing or things like that, why are you even doing it? That's really what it comes down to. Why are you doing it? What are people coming there for? Right? Are they coming there for boxing? And if a majority of your business is boxing, focus on boxing, right?
Well, even if it is, we can tell you how to grow your business even more. So I'm going to cut Jimmy off here. There's two modalities we recommend utilizing when you have a smaller micro gym, right? The small group model, which we recommend, that's easily scalable to $1 million business plus. And then you have your large group or your one-on-one. So you really have three. But your large group is what most people have. Most people have like a large group where it's over 15 people a session. That's large group. Small group is under 6. 1 to 6 is the ratio there with small group or semi-private, whatever you want to call it, right? So now, if you do have one of those boxing places and you are a boxing facility where you focus on boxing, well, then you have to look at the boxing as the large group, and then you could bolt on semi-private or small group personal training to your facility and give those people personal training. So large group and boxing are interchangeable, but you can't have both. If you have a boxing instructor that comes into your facility and you have a large group facility, you need to look back at what you're doing here and figure it out, because you are not a boxing place. You can never compete with a boxing place by having a couple of bags in the facility. Oh, but people like it. The clients like to do it. I'm sure they do. Then just do that for large group. There has to be a clear distinction between personal training and boxing. And if you want to use boxing as the main modality for HIIT workouts, that's fine. Then scale that and become a boxing place that does small group as well. But the fact that you have large group boxing, at 12 o'clock, we have a boxing class that comes in. Big mistake. You're putting a lot of lost revenue on the floor by doing that, and you're wasting a lot of space.
Yeah. And you have a bunch of different boxing bags, all this kind of stuff. Now, there may be some use if you really want to have a boxing bag in the corner of your gym and you implement it into a cardio circuit-based training session. That may be fine because it's one boxing bag. It's not something that takes up a huge amount of space in your gym and all this stuff. But if you have if you have 6, 8 boxing bags in your gym and we need them for our boxing class, you have to look at how much revenue that boxing class is actually producing. The revenue from the one boxing class is likely not even producing enough for you to take up the floor space with those boxing bags. So if you are a boxing facility, market the boxing facility and then add layers of accountability, nutrition, and add a little bit of, some light load in there that you can do some smaller group strength and conditioning work with those people that initially got interested in you because you were a boxing facility, because they're going to benefit from other strength training modalities as well. So like Anthony was saying, you can dovetail off of these people that are coming in for a lower ticket membership and bring them up to a higher ticket membership in a small group setting where you do specific clinics on specific movement patterns with the kickboxing and adding strength training in addition. But if you are a small group personal training or personal training facility that has boxing and yoga and whatever else it may be, right? HIIT and strength and this and that, it's too watered down. It's not specific enough to the type of person that's going to participate in your service, because there's a different type of person that wants to participate in a boxing class than that wants to participate in small group personal training. It's a different avatar. It's a different person. And your messaging is going to be different depending on who you're trying to attract. And you can't charge as much for boxing. You just can't charge as much for a boxing, like a kickboxing class, as you can for a small group personal training service. It's just different. So if you're charging people like $15 a drop in and you have a boxing class a couple times a week, kill it. You can keep one of the bags, run it into a circuit-based cardio deal, and call it a day. Because it's not going to produce enough revenue to take up that much real estate in your facility, is the problem.
Yeah, you're losing revenue. That's the thing what we're trying to tell you guys. You're losing revenue. Revenue per square foot is something you have to think about all the time. And if you're taking up, especially, and this is the one that drives me crazy, if you're hiring a boxing instructor to come in and teach those boxing sessions, that's even worse. First of all, the clients that are coming in to do a boxing session don't care about form. They just want to sweat. So there's no reason to have a boxing instructor there showing them how to punch correctly when that's not what their goal is. Their goal is just sweat. So like Jimmy said, if you have people dropping in, it's just a loss in revenue, and you could actually take that session out and put a large group session or a small group session in there and make more money per that time. Especially because I'm sure a boxing instructor is probably costing you more than your trainer does to put in there. And your trainer, if you want to keep one of the bags and use it as part of the modality, like Jimmy said, your trainer can just let them punch. I mean, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, as long as they're not breaking their hands or doing stupid stuff, it's, you don't want to hurt somebody with it, but at the same time, these aren't competitive boxers. These aren't people that are in trying to compete with each other to box properly. It's like they put on some gloves, and how hard is Mrs. Jones really going to hit the heavy bag? Is she going to hit it hard enough to break her pinky? Probably not. And are you going to need to wrap her hands up, right, and then put them in the bag and then waste all this time? Probably not. They slip some gloves on and they just, like this, treat it as cardio, right? It doesn't have to be this. Like, they're not, Floyd Mayweather knocking somebody out. It's Mrs. Jones, who's got 3 kids, and her husband, who's overweight, who she keeps trying to get to come into the gym because she says the boxing is so fun and it makes her sweat. Well, leave the boxing bag in there, make her sweat, but just run it into a cardio circuit where you're also having them jump on an Airdyne bike and a rowing machine and whatever else it may be. And then convert it all. Put all that shit in the corner when you're running your small group personal training, so you can use the weights and the space and all this stuff. So convert your gym and get more profit per square foot is what we're saying. So we always use this term, the Frankenstein gym. You do not want to be you do not want your gym to be Frankenstein's monster, right? You don't want to be Frankenstein as the owner. The Frankenstein owner is really what it is, because it's Frankenstein's monster. That's not actually Frankenstein, but you guys get what we're getting at. So you don't want your gym to be Frankenstein's monster. Don't be a mad scientist in the lab giving it all this weird stuff. One thing.
That's it. And again, if you guys want help with any of that, just click the link below. You could even join us on Facebook and continue this conversation there. But until next time, Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier, we are